Howdy, Michael, the Mercedes guy here, and we're going to work on a 124 wiper transmission assembly. It's the motor, the transmission is in here, and they get all gunked up in there, and I got a brand new gear that we're going to put in there because they get worn. And for the removal and installation, you can look at my video of the heater blower motor replacement. So we're going to start off here by just doing a little bit of cleaning right here so that I can mark this so I know exactly how it goes back together. And on this shaft, I don't think that is necessary, but we're going to make a mark on there too, just to be sure, since this is kind of a new area for me. Take a little hammer here, and that shaft right there. I've got my mark running up the side. Now we've got a little mark on the shaft. Okay, and pull this nut off. Okay, nothing like an impact wrench. Pop that washer off. Then we need to force this part off of the shaft, and the assembly is going to go that way. So you never want to pound on the end of a shaft. You always put the nut back on and get the nut almost flush with that shaft. Then okay, it's loose. Okay, there's a clip on here, a circlip, and there's no little hole to get a screwdriver in. So, if I try to take that thing off, it's going to go into orbit. So I'm going to set up a rag right there, just to kind of help me. And see if we can get that thing off of there. Okay, so since tapping on one side of that clip, I just get nowhere because the clip just rotates. So put a rag here so it doesn't go into orbit. You got two screwdrivers about the same length. Got one against one end of the clip, the other one against the other end of the clip. And there we go. The clip is off. Alright. Now, thrust washer there, we want to take off. Another spacer washer. Put those in order. Okay. Then need a little help getting that out of there. There's another washer. Let's get that out of there. For this shaft to come out of this housing, you want to have this arm at a 90-degree angle, and then it'll come out. There we go. We've got a little rubber O-ring seal right there we want to keep track of. We got our gear that rides around in this assembly here. And this is what gets it all gunked up and needs to be cleaned, and there's plenty of videos on there about how to clean these. This one is not actually looking too bad. Okay, I bought this drive gear. It's a different drive gear. So we're putting this on hold. Okay, we're back to fixing our 124 windshield wiper mechanism right here. Pop that off, and we release that band. Then we can slide this rubber off and access the screws. Okay, once we pop that over, we can take that off, and now we can access the screws that hold that plate on that hold the gear in. Okay. Okay, now often the screws will be hard to turn, and if you start letting your screwdriver drift out of the screw head, you're going to round out and it'd be bad. So what you want to do is push hard and turn at the same time. There you go. Okay, well, this is apart now. I got the old one out. We want to clean this out in here. And it is gooey, so we're going to need a little bit of solvent. Okay, now before we put this boot back on, we're going to take a brush. I'm using a plastic brush and clean this out really good all the way around that pinch band. Okay, to tighten this cinch clamp, I took a pair of big needle nose pliers, and I ground the tip just a little bit so that I could put it right in there and right here on the clamp, and I was able to cinch that up. Okay, to cinch this band up, I took a pair of big needle nose pliers and ground the tip enough to just get right in there, and then over on this side, and I was able to cinch the clamp up to get it to be back to its original spot here in these holes. Okay, I've got the new gear installed, and this gear here you want to clean all the old grease off as well. And I'm using a nylon brush here. Okay, and I've cleaned the shaft. The O-ring is still a pretty good one. If it's broken or missing, you want to replace it. Okay, and then I'm going to use some compressed air in here to blow that clean. Okay, got it all nice and clean, and we're going to grease the heck out of this. here and work it into all the teeth. Then I'm also putting in grease in these bushings. There's 2 bushings in there. You want to get it from both sides. And I've got my 2 thrust washers that I've cleaned. And back together. Just the reverse of disassembly. Okay, I've cleaned up this very thin spacer. O-ring's good. If it's bad, you want to replace it. And that O-ring sets right down in a little space right here. Then I've got it graced. We slide this back together. This gear can only go in this one spot where there's a relief for it. Then I've got my 2 spacers that came off. This side I've got them cleaned and they go on, and then the thick washer, and then the snap ring. Okay, the motor is still in the stop position, and there's 2 indexing marks right there that line up with that slot, and that's exactly where this bolts to the shaft. So we want to get that on there before we move anything.